Hi there, wonderful awakening beings and spiritual souls. JoRose at jorose.com, numerologist and energy forecaster, and in this video I'm sharing with you Life Path 22-4. This is a part of my Life Path series, and to see the full series I've left the playlist link in the description below. Within this series is an intro video explaining a number of things about your date of birth, and more importantly for this point is how to calculate your life path number. That's in the link above. So stop this video, go away and double check how your life path number is calculated, and then come on back. Come on back whether this is your video or not. Why? Because there is always great information in my videos to help you, because at some point you will come across one of these numbers. It could also be the number of your partner, parents, siblings, children, family, friends or work colleagues, and it's great to truly understand where those around you are coming from and what is in alignment for their journey in this lifetime. Coming back to this video, or more first to the master numbers. There are three master numbers: 11, 22 and 33. A master number is when we see the same number twice, i.e. 1, 1, 11, 2, 2, 22, 3, 3, 33. We tend in many situations not to reduce this down any further to the base number. However, in numerology you will see it written with the master number first, the double digit number, a slash, and then what it would reduce down to. In this case, 22/4. We still need to understand the base number, and in this case the base number is 4, because 2 plus 2 is 4. As a master number, you need to check out your base number. So I'm going to leave the link above for you to go and check out Life Path 4. Then come on back. All life path numbers need to work on balance. When we look at the life path number of the master numbers 11, 22 or 33, when we take the double digits in front, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, we add them together. 1, 1 is the 2, it's balanced. The double ones and the 2 is balanced. Then we have the double 2, the 4 is balanced, the double 3, the 6 is balanced. It's all about balance for master numbers, and it's balancing the spiritual and the material. Now in the 11-2 video I mentioned that the 11 is very much an idealistic number, and so is the 22 and the 33. These numbers are a higher vibration of the earthly numbers 1 to 9. They are, while we're all connected to source, they seem to have made a portal, a link to source to be connected, and they have the ability, or they're higher intuitive, they're in a higher consciousness, a higher spirituality, sensitivity. They're more open and aware, or they become more open and aware as time goes on. Initially they have to get used to that base number. The 11-2 number I mentioned struggles with fantasy and reality, bringing them together. They kind of like the daydreamers, the idealists. They've got great ideas, and they really work on helping the individual understand that they are more than just a body. What the 22-4 does, it's able to combine, balance the fantasy and the reality and make something from it. What is the path of the 22-4? It's the path of the master builder. Now you may think it's about building houses like the one I have behind me, but builders, or the master builder, can build anything, whether it be in the physical house, window, a door, then used in a house, or like out here I've got my garden furniture, table, chairs, etc. It's been built. But they also have an ability outside the physical, because it's all about bringing things to the reality, is they may also be behind great concepts, great ideas, great ways of moving humanity forward. Because whatever the 22-4, when they move into this master element of their number, is they are looking to better the world, not just for themselves but for humanity. Okay, so let's look at this firstly from the 22. So the 22 is a double whammy of the 2. Now the 2 is all about support, cooperation, harmony, understanding, listening. It's very connecting and charismatic, and it's often behind the throne. It's a sensitive number. It has feelings, and it can be guided by its emotions. When we look at the 4, it's a little bit more of a solid block square number. It's grounded, loyal, practical, safe, secure. It's looking for safety, and sometimes it holds it back. And the 4 can be very much stuck in a confined space. The 4 is all about limitations and pushing out the boundaries. Well, the 22-4 really has to push these boundaries out so much, because what it's here to do with these great visions that they will begin to understand as they develop their life is they're here to make a massive difference in some way, shape or form, environmentally or humanity. It still affects both. The skills or the traits, the positive traits that the 22-4 has on top of the base 4 is it's a great visionary. And when I look at the fact it's a great visionary, if you go back to that 22-4 and you see the 22 and the 4 and you add them together, you get 8. 8 is the visionary number. 8 is the number of the CEO, the corporate organization. It takes a large amount of people or a big idea, and it can go larger than the self and even global. This number 22-4 is highly inspirational. You can never tell, well, you can tell a 22-4 that they can't do something, but the chances are when you tell a 22-4 that they can't do something, they'll prove you wrong. At some point they'll prove you wrong. And I have come across these experiences in my own life, and I say that, I know in my other videos I say, oh, my youngest son or my eldest son or my daughter, but this life path is my life path, and I'm coming from my own experience in some of this. Now my experience, I must just tell you, is not necessarily the same experience as yours, because the life path is the path we've come to understand. It's not who we are. Who we are has come from some of the other core numbers from our name, and that is the skills we've arrived with, the motivation, what drives us, how we show up, and the two numbers together, the life path and the name numbers, bring together our big ultimate goal. So while I'm sharing much of this as in the 22-4, I know that mine could be slightly different, but there will still be the journey in there. I remember when I was told, back to this, you know, don't tell a 22-4 that they can't do something. I remember being told that I couldn't put my 7 to 8 foot Christmas tree in my 2-seater sports car, MR2, one of the old-fashioned boxy styles. They were in hysterics when I showed them the car that the tree needed to go in, but I slipped off the sunroof, popped it down behind the driver's seat, had them pop the tree down and put the seatbelt round and drove off. They thought it was hilarious. They were expecting me to say, please could you come and deliver this tree to my house, but no, I was able to do this. And there's been many points in my life where when somebody has told me I can't do it, that's like a negative challenge that I've turned into a positive. What do you mean I can't make some fancy light and put it on the ceiling and have all these little other colour twinkly lights in? I'm gonna do it. So I've done it. Another one was building I have an oak staircase, and I thought I had this lovely, amazing idea that I could have these mood changing lights running up them. So I bought the oak facing timber, bought the lights, come back home, forgetting to think about this is, oh look, while it's straight going all the way up the stairs, it's actually curved here. And I wanted it to go all the way along. So, not being challenged and stopped, I thought there has to be a way, and there was a way. If you just nick into the wood almost to the end, leaving about 1 millimeter, that little bit that you saw every so often allows the wood to bend. It looks amazing, it works. So what I'm saying is, if you tell a 22-4 it's not possible, they will eventually find a way that it is. So where was I? A 22-4 is a visionary, inspirational, they're forward thinking. That's how we get ourselves out of these challenges. They are sensitive and compassionate, and they need to learn to work with this. They're dedicated, charismatic, practical planners, determined and focused when they know what it is that they want to do. Some of the things that could hold you back as a 22-4 is you can be self-destructive because you've got these high expectations, because you believe that you can do these things. You beat yourself up when you haven't got it right or you haven't got it perfect. But it's your perfection, your understanding. And here's another thing is, if you're teaching a 4, especially a 13-4 or a 22-4, how to do something, don't miss any part out. You know, don't go A, B, C, F, P, Z. No, they need to learn all of it, and then they'll show you a better way. And that's true for most of the 4 numbers when they're in that frame of mind of wanting to achieve something. So they can become self-destructive when they haven't got it right. Perfection gets in the way. So they need to keep doing it until it becomes natural, and then it doesn't seem to become something that they can't do or understand. They can be demanding, stubborn, and I want to say lazy because perhaps they just haven't found a way, or because their ideas are so big or way out there, or so not yet there. Remember I said they're forward thinkers, that people around them can deplete their energy. I also said they're very sensitive and they feel these emotions, and the 4 is a team player, the 2 is a support. If they haven't got people supporting them, the 22-4s can be crushed. So it can cause them to be lazy, but that's nothing is good or bad the way I look at things, and that laziness may pull them back into a point where they get frustrated and they look for a new solution, and then they find it, and then they're off workaholics, because they can be workaholics. So I've said they're lazy and they're workaholics. It just depends, like anything, where they are on the spectrum. When we think of the 4, I said to you it's about limitations. The 4 is all about the house and the building. They can be rigid, controlling, and it could take a lot of effort for them to be flexible. You really have to help a 22-4 understand what it is that they need to get for them to become flexible. A 22-4 can sometimes be an oak tree, big and solid. But where it needs to be is the willow tree, still with the foundations, but able to move and be flexible. What do you need to develop in this lifetime? As on the path of the master builder, you need to develop you and the self. What doesn't, I've said in the 11-2, what doesn't break you makes you. The 22-4 will experience so many different aspects of challenge. Remember, they are the fixer, the builder, the sorter, the doer, and so they will experience many things in their lifetime, and it can be such a heavy burden, a heavy load to carry. But they will look to find a way through this, and as they work on this throughout their life under the 4, the base 4 number, is they will begin to acquire many skills in their lifetime, and it's from these skills and these situations that they are able to understand more about the physical element of life around them and the personal, the people element, the spiritual, emotional, mental element around them. It's the building blocks of these challenges that will make this success. So a 22-4 cannot move into this energy until later in life, because it needs all of these steps, these foundations. You go back to the 4 video, it's a step-by-step process. You cannot rush it, but it's this groundwork that steers them towards their vision of what they're here to do for the better of humanity. Then you're here to develop your practical approach, your ability to feel, you have an ability to feel what people need. And because you're practical, you want to help get them there. You want to help fix it, whether it is to build a house for them or to help them understand about something they're building in their life, whether it be a relationship, whether it be an education, whether it be some craft or whatever it is. Somehow you have the ability, because of this 2-2, to observe, to understand. And as you do this, you realize that sometimes you can't just get this in the beginning. It has to be a longer process for it to materialize. Many people want things now, but perhaps you are not ready. The world is not ready for what it is. I know when I wanted to start doing numerology and help people really understand that they created their own map before they came here on Earth. And in that map is the true designer model of you, of each individual person. And I wanted to share this in a way to help people build up their self-esteem, build up their strength, their confidence, their ability to be decisive, take action, and be aligned with what was right for them. I could not have got that at the beginning, because at the beginning I was very much going through the system, getting my education, getting a career, getting married, having a family, raising a family. And it's only when I look back at all these situations do I understand what it was that I was meant to be here to do. And in my case, I believe it's here to teach you to love and embrace yourself. Not all 22-4s are here to do that. And I do apologize if I steer off to my personal experience a little bit too often in this video. When I talk about the fact that the 22, and here's an example not based around with me, when I talk about the fact that a 22-4 can understand what others need and not necessarily what they want, I want to take Richard Branson. Now, Richard Branson is a 22-4 life path, and Richard Branson was at an airport waiting for his flight when there's an announcement that there is no flights going to the destination. He needed to be at his destination, and like I said, the 22-4 has the ability to come up with a solution. It is a solution solver. The vision doesn't stop, oh look, there's no flight, maybe we'll get a car, maybe we'll walk, whatever. No, what Richard Branson did was, because he had to get to the destination, it was important to him, was if he could find enough people, he would rent a private jet with a pilot that could take them. He got enough people, and that's exactly what he did. And then that's how Virgin Atlantic Airlines became a company. So the 22-4 is able to take a situation and build from it. Unlike the 4 with its boundaries, it pushes the boundaries, the 22-4. So if you're a 22-4, just look at what it is that you want to be right for you, because if it's right for you and you're in this higher vibration, it's right for many more people. It's your attention to detail. So even when Richard Branson was organising that, he knew, okay, so a plane needs to fly, it needs a pilot, I need funds because it needs fuel, etc. He ticked all his boxes what he needed in order to make it happen. So it's your attention to detail that takes you towards mastery of whatever you do. Remember, you are the master builder. So there is something in your life that you might not have known years ago, although a tiny little bit of you did know something, and it's a vision that you need to create, evolve, build and share. Now, that is a big thing, and it can bring overwhelm to you, and the 22-4 can suffer from overwhelm. But if what I'm saying to you is, with your ability, your ideals, your vision and your practicality and your skills, you are here to bridge the gap between the spiritual and the material. The 22-4 is about bringing them all together, balancing them. What do you need to release is the overwhelm. So you've got this big dream and it's just too much. The 4, go back to the 4, step by step, build it gradually. Even if it's a tiny step each day of whatever it is, or no, whatever you're doing is a tiny step towards what you're doing in the future. So work on that. Another thing you need to release, so overwhelm you need to release, another thing you need to release is fear of failure. Now, I know on my thumbnail I had this up, but when I saw this years ago, I had to purchase it because look, remember, there are no mistakes, only lessons. This really taught me a lot, that I wasn't making mistakes. I was just doing the lessons and seeing what the result was from it. And that's what we need to do. Fear of failing, fear of not reaching this big, what is it they say? Oh, I don't know. Hairy, audacious goal, whatever it is yes, you have this big goal. It is out there and you can make it happen. So just release the fear of it and break it down into small steps. Just keep doing a step every day, and at the end of the day, so important this, at the end of the day, congratulate yourself. Even if the step was this big or this big, just congratulate yourself for doing it. Another thing you need to work on is your emotions. Now, in my past, I was told I was overly sensitive and I needed to toughen up. And for a long time, I attempted to toughen up until I realized the benefit of my emotions. My emotions are what helps me understand others, what helps me understand nature, what helps me understand the energy and the environment. When I talk about the energy, it's no different from the weather. You know, a cold front, a warm front, all happy, happy, happy. And then when they meet, we have a storm, a tornado, something going on, because there's two pressures that meet. And if they're coming on fast, they're going to cause disruption. Very 5 energy. They cause disruption. And so understanding your emotions is, if you've got a very low mood, low pressure, and a very high mood, high pressure, and you enjoy this, if life was all party, all play all the time, you'd be exhausted, you probably wouldn't have any income, and not much stability. And if you're here very low, maybe not even getting out of bed, or you're stuck in the mundane too much, we have to learn to balance. And if we don't learn to balance, bang, we have these two pressures coming together, causing the disruption that we need to work from. And so it's working with your emotions. Every emotion is powerful. Every emotion is valuable. Go watch the movie Inside Out. go see the power of sadness. Now, I'm not telling you all to be sad, but go see the power of sadness, because had sadness not been there, the situation would not have altered between the parents and the child in the movie. I don't want to share anything about the movie, just go watch the movie. So something you need to work on or release your emotions. When I say release your emotions, is deal with your emotions and also work out if you're being affected by others. You're not here to fix others. I know you're a solution solver. You're not here to fix others. You're here to work on elevating yourself and building something that can benefit others. What else? Again, this is your insecurities. The 4 is all about security, structure and stability. So work on your insecurities. Are they all in your head or are they real? Yes, have money in your pocket. Yes, have a roof over your head. But you don't need to have all of the money now for this big project, this big dream. You don't need to have all of the skills now. So let go of your insecurities and know it's a step-by-step process that's going to get you to that ultimate point. Just work on balancing everything. Now, in the other videos, I've said to find your allies. I've really given this a lot of thought for the 22-4. Who are your allies? And while I want to say the master numbers, 11, 22 and 33, they're more there for support of the higher realm, the understanding of the forward thinking, where it is that as the soul we need to be developing here on earth. And then of course your base number 4, you really need to work and understand your 4, and if I tell you to do that, then the 3 and the 5 come up as allies to show you what is conflicting there and what you could do to develop this. I mentioned the 8 as well. Now the 8 is the big visionary and making some project really big. But when I thought about it, is every single number will be teaching you something at some point. So be open for all of the information that you get and use it step by step to build what it is that you're here to build. When we think about the 22-4 energy, it's about understanding that the ideal and the material are actually one. I've mentioned about bridging them, the gap, bringing them together, but they are one. Just before I started this video, there was a big red, well, I say big red, it was a red small plane that flew overhead. And that plane could not have existed without a thought, without an idea. And that did not exist without seeing a bird fly. And that did not exist without Source making it. So Source made the bird, Source made you, Source guided the idea, and through Source energy, materials were used to make the plane. So the 4, the 22-4, is the big ideas. Think about the plane, how that piece of metal could leave the ground and fly above us without falling out of the sky. One more thing I want to say is, and the 22-4 really understands this, there is a hierarchy in nature, and therefore there is an hierarchy in life. When we look at businesses, we have the top people, the managers, and then we have the sub-managers, and then we have the team of this and the team of that, and so on. Everything is needed and one person can't do everything. The 22-4 can feel like it can do most things, and I've said before in the 4 video is you really need to create a power team around you. There is a hierarchy and we are a part of earth and matter, and we've come from spirit and we'll return to spirit. And in that process, our body will go to dust and back to the earth. I think about that from the story of the Lion King and the circle of life. The 22-4 can see the whole picture, the idea and the reality of it. If this is your life path, I wish you all the best living it. While it's challenging, it's also magical. While it's overwhelming, it's only because you agreed in this lifetime to do something big about it. If there's one number that's going to leave a legacy behind, it's the 22-4. Your legacy does not need to be massive, because if it just influences one person or a handful of people, you know that just by changing that person or that community's vibration, you have changed the vibration on our planet. If you want to know more about numerology or want a reading, then do get in touch. There are some links below. If you've liked this video, give me a thumbs up. Please share, subscribe and ring that bell if you want to stay notified for some more videos as I produce them. What I want to say as I end this video is, it's your life. LYFE. Love yourself first every day. It is your life, and it starts with loving yourself. I said to you, you need to develop you, the self, first. By doing this, you will be grounded. You will become the willow tree and less of the oak tree as you go out there and you spread your branches in the breeze, showing the element of your vision and your dream. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.